5 rules you need to have in place in order to drop body fat, but without sacrificing what you love. This episode, we're going to be looking at exactly how you can drop 10 kg of body fat in 90 days without sacrificing what you love. Most people think they need to give up absolutely everything. Remove the chocolate, remove the crisps, remove the alcohol, the meals out, etc. Right? All the things that you now love in order to drop the body fat and get themselves into shape. But the reality is they crash and burn after a set period of time. And I'm going to show you today of 5 rules that you need to put in play right now in order to drop the body fat, but without sacrificing what you love. Yes, there has to be a small sacrifice on one end, but on the other end, still get some joy in dropping body fat as well and still including the things that you love. So let's get straight into it. Point number 1, you need to know your calendar. Everything in your life that is happening or will be happening needs to be in your calendar. Your social events, your holidays, your work, when you're eating, when you're training, when you're walking. So you have a crystal clear understanding of exactly what is going on within that day and within that week. And when you do this, you manage your energy far better because you know where the busy patches are and you know where the quieter patches are, so you can synchronize your life up to those demands. Point number 2, and this is where most people go wrong. You need to go into every single week with 3 different game plans. Game plan A, they are like your maximum playing levels. Maximum amount of steps, maximum amount of training, nutrition, super tight in terms of calories, in terms of macros. This sits in your quieter part of the day or your quieter parts of the week. Game plan B, and this is just your bog standard week where you know exactly what's coming up. You haven't got any huge demands. You haven't really got a quiet patch. It is just what it is. It's one of those sorts of weeks. They are your moderate standards across training, across nutrition, across movement. So you know exactly what standard that you're going to play with within those weeks. Point 3. And the final point on this, and the final standard, is your minimum standard. This is game plan C. And this is where you actually plan for the week to go wrong, because there are going to be things in your life that happen that are going to come out of the blue. There's going to be stress, there's going to be pressure, there's essentially going to be shit thrown your way. And this is where most people break, because they'll then fall off track, they'll fall off the wagon, they'll emotionally eat, they'll emotionally drink, and they can't control their behaviors. And one of the reasons for this is they actually haven't built in this system into their lifestyle, so they don't actually have anything to fall back to and understand how they can manage themselves as best as they can. So actually understanding your minimum standard of what that really looks like. So your minimum amount of steps, your minimum amount of training across the week, your minimum amount of standard around food, calorie intake, and your macros when life goes to shit, because it will across the weeks. And these 3 standards and these 3 game plans are going to allow you to manage your life effectively and build the body you want no matter what's happening within your week. So you remove that all or nothing or falling off the wagon mentality. Number 3 is calorie cycling. And what I mean by calorie cycling is, let's say you need 2,000 calories to be in a calorie deficit in order to drop body fat. That's 14,000 calories across the week, right? Well, if you're going out on a Saturday and you know it's going to be 3,000 calories, you need to be reducing a certain amount of calories Monday to Friday in order to facilitate those extra calories. So you need to knock off 1,000 calories across those 5 days to then bring it in to that Saturday, which means by calculation, even though you go out and you have a higher day on a Saturday, you're going to still be in your weekly deficit by the end of Sunday because you've managed to calorie cycle across the week. You can also class this as calorie banking, because what you now do is you subtract a certain amount of calories from Monday to Friday and even off the Sunday post-event if you wish. And what you now do is you allocate those calories that you've sort of saved up and you throw them into the Saturday on top of your standard amount of calories, which means you're going to still be in a calorie deficit across the week and you've still socialized, which proves the point of you can still drop body fat without sacrificing what you love. And if you're anything like me, you enjoy a beer every now and again, you like to go out for food, you like to go out for coffee, you enjoy cake from a bakery. Now, if that's you, then you actually need to be focused on these 3 rules so far. Rule number 4 is study the menu before you go to the restaurant. There's going to be a high chance that you are going to be going out to eat. You know where you're going to be going, right? And in order for you to stay aligned with your nutrition, but still enjoy what you're consuming when you're out, you need to study the menu. And the reason why this is because if you study the menu, you can have 2 to 3 go-to options that you know are going to be somewhat of quality, but you're still going to be able to get that enjoyment factor from. You're not going to be pressurized. You won't panic when the waiter or waitress comes over, and you remain in control of what you're consuming and what you're picking, because up your sleeve, you've got 2 to 3 options because, again, you've studied the menu, which has put you in control and put you in the driving seat to knock this body fat off, get yourself into incredible shape, and do it while socializing. So point number 4, study the menu. And the most important factor of all of these, and this is a huge part of my coaching program, is take extreme ownership. Rule number 5, take extreme ownership. If you aren't doing what you're meant to be doing, understand why. If your day doesn't go to plan, understand why. If your weekly targets don't get hit, understand why. If it's going wrong, and it will feel like it's going wrong at certain points, address it straight on. Understand why it's breaking down. Do not avoid, because in order for you to have these rules running effectively, that's essentially behaving completely different to how you have behaved in the past. Because I'm pretty sure that you've winged it, you've been able to do it for a certain amount of weeks, and then it's fallen off track. These 5 points most probably highlight a certain area of why that is. And the person that you're trying to become, your future self, is already doing these 5 points, even though they're in shape. It's an identity shift, and the future you will be addressing what's going on, what's working, what's not working. They are reviewing of what's happening, so they have a clear understanding of how to remain at the level that they want. So yes, you need to take extreme ownership of if it's working, why. If it's not working, understand why. And I can guarantee you now, it's not from a surface level perspective. If it goes wrong, it's not a nutrition or training fault. It'll be down to your own behaviors, your own habits of why it's potentially breaking, and it needs addressing. If you do not take extreme ownership, you're always going to struggle. And if you've made it this far in the video, which firstly, I appreciate you if you have, click below and you can grab yourself the client execution book, where you can actually understand your weeks, what it looks like, what it's going to feel like, and actually map out those 5 rules every single week, which then is going to allow you to build the body, drop the body fat without sacrificing what you love. Legends, catch you in the next episode.